This set looks actually pretty good on a Paladin. It's not every day you get to swing a big bad hammer like this. Hello everybody, today we're going to be taking a look at Griswold Avenger build. I'm actually pretty hyped for this one because I have never used Avenger's ability or skill before, and I also have never really used anything but the Griswold armor. So yeah, let's see how this can perform. You start off with Call to Arms just really fast, get your Holy Shield up, and that's pretty much it. You only have one ability in Vengeance and only one aura to really worry about. When you're dropping a bit of health, you got Redemption, and you can also use Spike or Aura. Now, right off the bat, you will probably notice that I'm lagging AoE. Sadly, this ability or skill just does not have any AoE. But you are, however, one-shotting even elite packs. That is high amount of single target damage for sure. But yeah, it's a very simple build to play, and it's just a lot of left click spam on your mouse or whatever. I don't really think there's much to say about it. You got decent survival, and even if you drop a lot of health, you can switch to Redemption to recover it back. And you also can somewhat proc your Cool's gloves. It doesn't proc very fast, but it does happen. You could probably also do Ubers with this one, even without changing out items, if you were just gonna switch to having Smite ability instead, since we do have that as a skill as well. Very well then, let's explain what a Vengeance build is. It's a build that utilizes Vengeance. It does cold, fire and lightning damage all together. It also costs a bit of mana, unlike Seal or Smite, which is just a little extra bonus thing you have to deal with. Another thing is also that it actually has some pretty decent survival due to Griswold having some very nice all resistance, and also in general a lot of faster hit recovery and other sort of stats. I can just quickly also mention that I'm using an Eve Reaver's Tall Mercy Chant, but I think for the gameplay I will leave that one out just because it's such a strong merc, and I would like to make this one stand alone just to kind of show the power. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the little here introduction. Again, Vengeance doesn't have any AoE, so you're gonna have to deal with it being rather slow in those AoE situations. But the single target is so high that you pretty much one-shot any mobs, or at least get close to. But let's start with covering the build. In combat skills, you're gonna go down to Holy Shield, and depending on your level or how much survival you want, say you want max block, you're either gonna put 1 point into it or all 20 points. And then we max out Vengeance, and that's pretty much it for the combat skills. Now for the offensive auras, very simple as well. You're just gonna go down to Conviction and put 24 points into it, or 25 if you do not have Cold Arms. But when I'm pre-buffed, I'm gonna get +1 extra skiller. And if people don't know about this, but Conviction, the minus resistance part doesn't work above 115%, so there's no reason to put more than or get more than 25 skillers into the aura. And then defensive auras. Resist fire and resist lightning are maxed because those are synergy to Vengeance, and then also just 1 point in Salvation, which is also synergy, and then you just take 1 point into the rest of the skills. Now, depending on your level and kinda how far you go and whatnot, you can get remaining points into, again, Holy Shield or something like that if you want more block, actually get close to max block without putting much points in dexterity. But yeah, it's kinda up to yourself. The build is pretty open like that. So let's take the stats really fast. Enough strength just to wear your Menage and switch, just because I like this one over using a lightless, but it doesn't really matter. Just a note there, because you don't have to get that much strength. It's just to equip your Griswold shield, which requires 148. Enough dexterity to at least get 50% block with Holy Shield. I'm just above that, so either you're gonna put a lot of points in dexterity or you're gonna put very little. That's up to yourself. I feel like I didn't really want the 75% faster block or increased block chance, but yeah, that's kinda up to yourself. and then vitality for the rest. Now, if you do not think that you need that much vitality, 3000 plus life, you could actually go with some energy, just because again, vengeance do cost quite a bit of mana. But yeah, we do have redemption, and you can also use potions and whatnot, so it's maybe not a big need, but I just wanted to mention that. And yeah, we also do not have to worry about attack rating again, because conviction reducing defense of mobs, that's just awesome, so no worries about using like a Raven Frost ring or angelic combo or whatever, so that's really sweet that we can just ignore attack rating. Defense is also not very good on this build, sadly. It's mostly just due to like the few items not giving that much defense or whatever, and then of course Holy Shield itself not being at a high level, but yeah, it's okay. And yeah, we're gonna get that like 3000 life with Call to Arms if you use that, so that's pretty sweet. And with resist fire, resist lightning, we're gonna get a lot of survival against those two elements, and also just being able to cap resistance pretty easily without too much worry about like the inventory and whatnot. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, so let's get to the fun part, the gear. So Griswold, just look at the set bonuses. 3 to Paladin, yes. 30 faster hit recovery, yes. 200 attack rating, don't really need it, but it would have been good for standard melee builds. 20 strength, yes. 30 dexterity, yes. 150 life, 50 all resist. All these stats can really be utilized on a melee build. It's just very nice to see that the set is designed that way. I can also just quickly tell a little bit about this one. Griswold is very important that it has so many sockets, especially the weapon and the shield. Yeah, all the items actually has a lot of sockets, which is also why this set is actually used for Fist of Heavens. So if you don't know what Fist of Heavens, it's this ability. A lot of people use Griswold for Fist of Heavens build. I was looking into that, but for the most part those are for PvPers who also use Smite and Fist of Heavens together, if that makes sense for you. But yeah, that's a pretty good PvP build. But anyways, I mean, the set is just nice. It gives a lot of good stats, and that's pretty much it. But I think we can start down here with the gloves. Dracula's gloves. You should maybe just get some crushing blow gloves, Gorins, I don't know, something crafted. But I guess you don't really need that life tap proc, but it's kind of like up to yourself. Another thing that could also boost your damage a lot would be laying of hands. So the physical damage is on top of vengeance, but the more physical damage you do, the more damage your vengeance is also gonna do. It's like weird mechanics behind that, but that is also why the damage can maybe be a little less due to using Griswold's weapon. It doesn't do a lot of damage, but yeah, just kind of wanted to mention that. But yeah, laying of hands is of course always good. And then we can take the rings here. I just modded 2 fast wheel rings to show some examples. One ring would be with life leech on it, and then some orb assist, life and strength. Just overall really good stats. If you can get a life leech ring like this one, that would be pretty much ideal. Definitely try to value the orb resist on it, or at least some sort of resistance, because that helps a lot to cap. And then I'm using another nice little ring here with fire resistance, some strength and dexterity, just for again more block and able to equip items without putting any points into strength. That's a cool little extra bonus thing you can aim for. And yeah, let's take the belt here, Thunder Gods. I really didn't know what belt I wanted, but Thunder Gods just gives strength, so that's pretty cool, and also just more to maximum lightning, which is always fun in my world, because now you go to 95% lightning resistance. Like souls are not even gonna hurt you like this, I suppose. So I'm pretty happy with this choice actually, just because I rarely ever use this build, so it fitted pretty well in this scenario. And then I'm using Sandstorm tricks. For once I actually find a build that I would like to use this one on, and it's mostly down to faster hit recovery. I can't quite remember the breakpoint that I aim for right now, but yeah, I can fix that later if something was wrong. But anyways, The sandstorm boots here just gives strength, that's really nice, and has really nothing more than that. Oh yeah, maybe some poison resist if you still needed that for some reason to cap. But yeah, it's mostly just strength and faster hit recovery. If you wanted life, if you wanted fire resistance, etc., I would just go with Elder's boots. That's totally fine as well. And then we can take the amulet up here. Highlights Wrath. You need this for the attack speed. We aim for 109 attack speed in total. I think I have 115, so I'm a little bit over the cap, which is good. But yeah, I couldn't really find a better amulet than Highlights Wrath. You could also go with Mara's amulet if you don't need increased attack speed, but that's up to yourself. So let's quickly also just take the Griswold again. Griswold Redemption, I went with 2 bears and 2 lows. Yeah, let's just see. Yeah, 2 bears and 2 low runes. So get 40% crushing blow and 40% deadly strike. I thought that was a decent combination. But maybe you should just go with full crushing blow runes in it. 4 bears, that's probably better. But you could also go with lightning facets in it if you just for some reason want to stack elemental damage over melee stats, but that's kinda up to yourself. Anyways, with this weapon here and the cool gloves again, you could probably go and do Duriel Ubers without switching out any gear. That's at least a thing I would mention that you can probably easily manage to do. And yeah, in Griswold I went with with some 40% 40% increased enhanced damage, or actually we're a little under that, 28%. Yeah, I nerfed the stats a little bit just to not completely overpower the gems, just for completion's sake. But yeah, you needed a lot of attack speed, and the sockets in this armor is just for that attack speed and enhanced damage. And then in the helm I was having some trouble deciding what I wanted to gem. You could go like a minus 15 requirement duel, 15 all resist duel in it. That's actually a decent choice. But yeah, I just went with some lightning facets, and then I also went with 15% increased attack speed, 15 all resist duel, I think it was. Yes, a bit hard to remember now, but yeah, 108 increased attack speed. That is the breakpoint for this Caduceus, whatever it's spelled out. But yeah, we really just need the attack speed to be high so Vengeance can hit faster, cause again there is no single target, so at least we can hit faster than that one attack we do. But yeah, I think that pretty much covers the gear. Oh yeah, and also just a quick call to arms and spirit, just for some really nice boost in both your mana and life. And then we can also just quickly take the inventory. I just went with some combat skillers. You can really just go with anything. If you don't like skillers in this build, you can go with so much else. But like 3 2020s, or even, yeah, I was experimenting this before. 3% faster one walk, 11 resistant small charms, whatever you can afford to get. Those are actually pretty great. You get a lot of resistance, which is maybe good to get if you can for some reason cap resistance, but then you also get faster one walk, which is very handy. But yeah, these were the small charms that I went with. Some some 3% faster one walk, 3 maximum, and some attack rating. They're maybe not that exciting or anything, but they just get the job done, and it's just really nice to see that you can at least find some small jumps that has some value, especially the faster one walk. I like to stack that. It's also because we do not have any ways to teleport and whatnot. That is also maybe stuff like why sandstorm tricks are maybe not the best boots. You could go with elders or even some crafted ones for this specific build. And finally we got a hellfire and a news. But as you can see, I nerfed some of the stats on this rolls here, so you can actually easily cap resistance without, perfect gear, which is always a nice thing to know. However, now the build is not that expensive, I will give you that. I could probably get most of the gear for around 100 FG on JSP. However, the problem is the duels. The duels really just makes or breaks this build. So if you can't get the jewels, it's just very hard to make this build, and that's kind of the sad part about this build overall, I suppose. Because again, this is a class set, and you would think if you make a build around a class set, it would at least not be that expensive. But to get, you know, the right attack speed breakpoint, it's just gonna cost you a lot. But of course, if you aim for a slower attack speed, I can just try to show the difference just really fast. It's still gonna work, you know, it's not that bad. And then I'm just gonna remove Griswold's armor. You can see that I'm tagging a little bit slower now. Definitely faster. So yeah, just keep that in mind that it does work even without these crazy duels and whatnot. But let's do some Players 5 Hell gameplay. Just gonna buff up. And let's go. Oh yeah, Soul right off the bat. Good luck with that. So much lightning resistance and lightning absorb as well. But yeah, as you can see, the life stays up pretty fast. And with my Mercy Chant just, you know, being insane, I'm doing okay damage. But yeah, it's just nice to see that all that lightning resistance doesn't make a dent in my health now. So many souls. But yeah, you notice now I'm out of mana on a Paladin. That's kind of weird, yes. But at least we do have redemption. So you kind of have to rely on redemption, or you're gonna use a lot of mana potions. But yeah, if you can deal with using redemption, it's not that bad, I suppose. But yeah, as you can see, I'm one-shotting most of these mobs, and they're always gonna hit pretty much. I don't have to worry about hit chance. That's always a cool thing. I just have to say it's pretty boring to play how one ability and one aura that you never really switch out. And again, just a lot of mouse clicking spamming. It's a bit boring that way, I suppose, I have to admit. Anywho, one thing that is always gonna annoy me with Redemption is that it ticks so slowly, and that's kind of like a minor little quality of life thing I hate. But yeah, I'm doing just fine, and you can also see that recruits, it doesn't proc a lot, but it's enough to kinda, yeah, not having to worry about life really ever. And I can try to maybe just find a nasty pack again. Oh yeah, this is pretty decent. Let's see about this one. Pretty much souling as well, the Mercy Gen is in the background. But yeah, it just annoys me how good the Reaper's Tall Mercy Chant is. But yeah, it's fair game, it's fair game. It definitely helps having such a merc around. Not that you need it really for, you know, physical immunity, so whatever. Okay, time for some final thoughts to round out the build. I like this build, but again, the AoE is just too little. As you can see now, I'm able to somewhat one-shot mobs on one player hell difficulty. It's okay damage, but we really just need some way to AoE in this game, and yeah, this build has nothing on that. Another problem is also, again, the leech doesn't seem to be very good even with a mana leech ring. I'm also getting more and more annoyed by the mana problems. I didn't really think that would be a problem, but again, we're just gonna have to rely on redemption aura to kinda get the mana back up again. And it can be a bit of an annoying gameplay, I suppose. Another thing is also, I miss my Enigma. I miss some way to do also just more damage overall. It's kinda sluggish and slow. So if you want like a slow, fun build that utilizes Griswold to probably the second best it can do, I would actually say this is pretty decent. Of course, if you just wanted to have some fun with Griswold, why not just make a standard sealer, max out that seal and sacrifice and call it a day. I mean, yeah, it's just so much better using seal, but I'm able to actually utilize as class set with an ability that I've never really used before, and with that I find that to be a success on its own. There's a lot of cool things with Vengeance, definitely. It's not a useless ability, but I just wish it did some AoE. But overall, I'm actually quite satisfied with the build. But yeah, if you want me to see more with this build, or even just cover a new class set that I haven't shown on the channel yet, feel free to say so. And as always, thank you for watching and have a good one.